China sees red as Dalai Lama defies it. Rattled China, that has rejected Dalai Lama's succession plan. China aims to name puppet Dalai Lama is what we are learning. Dalai Lama has blanked out China completely. And the dragon is seething now as Tibetan resistance has now bristled China yet again. Dalai Lama making it very clear that China is out as far as Dalai Lama choosing his successor is concerned. And now in the very latest, we are learning of how China is absolutely miffed over this announcement that has been made. China that stands in the red as this will not just strengthen Tibet's self-determination, but China loses control when it comes to setting its narrative over religious control, strengthening the Tibetan government in exile. Also, how global pressure is likely to build on China with the kind of development that is now taking place. The Dalai Lama making it very clear that as far as his successor is concerned, China has absolutely nothing to do with it. And now there you see China angry and miffed over this very statement coming in as they reject Dalai Lama's succession plan. Geeta Mohan joining us on the phone line with the very latest on this development. Geeta, over to you.
Well, the Chinese have been quite clear that they are going to, as they have done with the past and the previous spiritual leaders, be it the Pancham Lama, or for that matter now looking at the Dalai Lama. Absolute clarity that they are going to select the reincarnate of the Dalai Lama. So no matter what is said over here in Dharamshala, China clearly has announced it's going to go ahead and do what it wants. China has said that the next Dalai Lama or the Dalai Lama successor will have to be approved by the government in Beijing. So that's a very clear signal that if it is not approved, they're going to go look for a reincarnate and place somebody in Lhasa. And when that happens, there will be the same problem that we see with other Pancham Lamas. Suddenly, the importance and the influence of China will make sure that the influence of those, the spiritual leader, diminishes. So this is China's plan, but the Dalai Lama has been a force in himself when it comes to how he's taken his line of Buddhism forward, and very clear two things. One is that his office is going to decide who the next reincarnate is going to be, and secondly, not so long ago he'd also announced that the next Dalai Lama will be born outside of China or any Chinese-controlled territory.
All right, Geeta, many thanks for getting us the latest. Of course, we keep a close eye on how China works around this. But one thing is very clear, China is miffed by this very development, as China says our approval is a must. Yes, a major declaration of spiritual sovereignty. The exiled Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama has drawn a red line for China. Releasing a formal statement dated July 2nd, Dalai Lama reaffirmed that only a trust appointed by him, the Dalai Lama Trust, will decide on who succeeds him. Dalai Lama has made it clear no external power, implicitly pointing at Beijing, can interfere in this process. Only the Tibetan Buddhist community and spiritual leaders chosen by him will oversee the search, recognition, and validation of his reincarnation. If we speak of the spiritual process, the search for the next Dalai Lama begins only after the current one passes away. Senior monks and the oracle narrow down possible locations. A child believed to be the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama is tested. If confirmed by high lamas, the child is then raised in monastic training. For decades, Beijing has tried to position itself as the authority to anoint the next Dalai Lama to install a pro-China figure. It has already imposed its own Pancham Lama while detaining the one chosen by the Tibetans.